ॐ आप्यायन्तु ममाङ्गानि वाक्प्राणश्चक्षुश्रोत्रमथो बलमिन्द्रियाणि च सर्वाणि सर्वं ब्रह्म उपनिषदम् माहं ब्रह्म निराकुर्याम् मा ब्रह्म निराकरोत् अनिराकरणमस्त्वनिराकरणं मे अस्तु तदात्मनि निरतेय उपनिषत्सु धर्माः ते मयि सन्तु ते मयि सन्तु। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। We opened the third section, Tritiya Khanda, of this Kena-Upanishad from the Talavakara Shakha of Samaveda. In this third section, there is going to be a story. In the story, in that allegory, we have the Supreme Lord, God, Ishvara, teaches a lesson to Devas, gods, where if you are writing it in English, G is in lower case. We are not talking about the Supreme Lord teaching a lesson to Brahma, Vishnu or Shiva. The Supreme Lord himself is Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva. So the word God has to be understood as a large number of Jivatmas who, having earned a lot of punya, religious merit, live for a certain period of time in Swarga, in the heaven, where their king also is a Jivatma of great amount of punya that is earned. The king is called Indra. Indra, Vayu, Varuna, Agni, and then very large number of gods, Devatas, sometimes we call them Devas, Suras, or Devatas. These are synonyms. You and I also were at one time probably Devas. You and I perhaps will be Devas after this life for a while. So we may be Devas for some time, might have been Devas for some time. And then when certain sins that we had committed come up to the forefront, we again are born as human beings. In some rare case, we may go further down to be born as an animal, and there is even the possibility of spending some years in the body of a tree, not to mention the worst case, to be in the body of a stone, and so on. Infinite possibilities, so to say. But generally, once you are a human being, you are going to be a human being for many lives to come. So, without making it a long discourse on Punarjanma and the laws governing Punarjanma, reincarnation, let's get back. We looked at Sri Shankarācārya's comments before even he touches upon the first mantra. He said the story is to show how Brahma Vidya is very difficult. Therefore, certain other material than pure philosophy is needed. Secondly, he said it is also to emphasize the need for certain qualities like mind control, control over senses, shama, dama, and so on. Thirdly, he said, while the previous two sections with tremendous rigor had dismissed any possibility of Brahma, the supreme truth, being looked at as having form, for those of us who cannot go to that height of philosophical maturity, God with form, with qualities. Sakara and Saguna is required. And this third section makes room for Saguna Sakara Brahma, whereas the previous two sections had not permitted it. That we saw in the last class. And in this class, class number 14 in this series, lectures on Kena-Upanishad, drawing from vākya-bhāshya. While there is another bhashya called Pada-bhāshya, we are not touching it here. Both are written by Sri Ādi Shankarāchārya. So in the vākya-bhāshya, we are going to engage with some more paragraphs of Shankaracharya's vākya-bhāshya in the commentary, some more paragraphs, and in this class also we will not be able to touch the Upanishad mantra as yet. But in this class, in a way we slightly touch the first section, how the first mantra rather, of the third section. The third section, the first mantra, begins Brahma Devebhyo Vijigye. That's the mantra. We'll see it later. But the first word of that mantra is Brahma. And Shankaracharya takes up the question, what on the earth is the meaning of Brahma? My favorite example is somebody says, my daughter lives in New York. You mean in the New York state, a huge state where there are many cities like Rochester or Buffalo and so on, the capital of which is Albany? Or do you, by saying New York, mean the New York City, which has some 5 boroughs, Manhattan and Bronx and so on? Do you mean the city of New York or the state of New York? The question is valid. Likewise, friends, when the word Brahma is used at many places in the Vedas, including in the Upanishads, the word Brahma could mean the only reality, Ekameva Advitiyam Brahma. Yes, but at other places, depending on the context, it means not that Ekameva Advitiyam, but Ishvara. And when you talk of Ishvara, the God principle, the God personality, it is not Advitiya. Because where there is the ruler, there is the ruled. Ishvara, Jiva, Jagat, everything comes about. Though essentially all of them resolve into Brahma. All of them, upon being further examined, upon our going deeper, lead to the non-dual Brahma, one without a second. But that is if you examine, if you dig deep, if you go to levels, other levels of philosophy. But now Shankaracharya maintains that as far as this story is concerned, where the first line is Brahma Devebhyo Vijigye, the word Brahma means Ishvaraha. Ishvara is different, Jagat is different, Jiva is different, and the Jiva, the individual souls are infinite. And each of them has had countless lives. So that's a very complex, varied scenario. Let's go to the very first title slide now for this class, in which we say the 3 paragraphs as per one of the publications. Shankara's commentary keeps flowing, and different publications have organized that flowing bhashya into paragraphs. One Swami Sachidanandendra Saraswati not only does it to the Upanishad Bhashyas, Gita Bhashya or the Brahma Sutra Bhashya, but also attaches numbers. So that whenever he refers to some portion of Shankara's Bhashya on, let's say, Brahma Sutras, he even says, Bha. What is bha? In his books, if you read, please see Bha 133. What is Bhaba? Homi Baba? No. Bha means Bhashya Bhaga. Bhashya Bhaga. Brahma Sutra Bhashyas or that Bhashya is so voluminous. I'll try to tell you next time how many Bhashya Bhagas are made by SSS Swami Sachidananda Saraswati. So that when he says go to 133 and if you in his book go to 133rd paragraph, there you will find what you are looking for. Maybe a reference to either high philosophy or even certain social divisions and so on. Even some socially debated issues such as Varnashrama and so on is discussed in the Brahma Sutras. I have not studied it in detail, but I'm aware that Brahma Sutras pick up all kinds of issues and connect them. The 555 aphorisms written by Veda Vyasa make references to so many facets of Sanatana Dharma in a certain style, of course, befitting the discussion on Vedanta, because Brahma Sutras are called Vedanta Sutras. They are not Dharma Granthas. Brahma Sutras is not a Dharma Grantha. It is a Vedanta Grantha. And yet, there are some references in certain contexts to less important themes and topics of Sanatana Dharma. All right. So I said we are going to see three paragraphs and what is conveyed in these three paragraphs. As the title slide goes, what we are going to highlight this evening is the logical basis for belief in God. Shankarāchārya, in certain other commentaries, also says a few words about what, after all, we mean by God and why God comes into the picture. Why not just know who we are and be done with it? Why bring God into the picture? Buddhism is silent on God, Jainism is silent on God, and why are we Hindus very much into God? You will find a logical basis in the Shankarabhāshya. In this title slide, I have taken out a short sentence which will come in the next slide. Ishvara ichchaya trinam api vajri bhavati. Vajra is hard, diamond, hard and strong. A blade of grass is soft. At the breezing wind, it blows, it waves, it moves, it oscillates. You can pick up a blade of grass and break it or tear it. You can take a blade of grass and holding it upon your palm, you just blow air and the blade of grass flies away. But that blade of grass, Ishvara Ichchaya, by desire, by will of God, can become Vajra. A sentence like this is enough, in fact, to make your day. If you think about it, oh my God, how can I forget this? If God wills, all my impurities and imperfection, confusions and conflicts will vanish in a moment. I will be transformed. That is the implication. Ishvara ichchaya trinamapi vajri bhavati. Now we go to the next slide. Sri Shankarāchārya, as though touches upon the first mantra, not really, but a little bit, because he picks up the first word one last time. The mantra that we will see in a future class begins with the word Brahma. Brahma devebhyo vijigye tasmin vijaye. It goes in that victory, gods felt or they thought of themselves as very high, they became arrogant, Asmakameva Vijayaha, Asmakameva Mahima. This is our glory. This is we are great. Egoism entered into them. So the mantra begins with the word Brahma. And Acharya Shankara, in yet some 8 paragraphs, goes into the discussion of what under the sun is this Brahma, as per this context. As the translation you see in your slide shows, in this section of Kena-Upanishad, if not anywhere else, the word Brahma indicates Ishvara, not the non-dual Brahma, not Vedas. In Bhagavad Gita, there is a shloka in the chapter 4. Evam bahuvida yajnaha vitataha brahmano mukhe. There the word Brahma means Veda. Vedasya mukhe bahavaha yajnaha vitataha. Somewhere else the word Brahma can mean Omkara. Someone else, the word Brahma in Gita itself at a couple of places, the word Brahma can mean the Brahma Varna, Brahmana Varna. Brahma Karma Swabhavajam, Kshatriya Swabhavaha, Vaishya Swabhavaha, Shudra Swabhavaha, ityadi. In 18th chapter he says. There to say, refer to Brahmana, he uses the word Brahma. Brahma Karma Swabhavajam. So Brahma can mean probably a dozen things. One of them is the non-dual Brahma. But here it is not that. Brahma iti paraha, the supreme ruler, lingat. Because that is the indication the story gives. Nahi anyatra parat, ishvarat, nitya sarvajnat, agni adin paribhuya. There is no other power, no other principle which can paribhuya, overpower the mighty gods like Agni, Vayu, and Indra, and so on. Agni adin paribhuya, trinam vajrika vajrikartum samarthyamasti. Nowhere else do you see that samarthya, that power to convert, to transform a blade of grass into the hard diamond. Therefore, in Gita Dhyana Shloka also, Sri Krishna is praised. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yat kripa tamaham vande paramananda madhavam. I salute Madhava, who can make a dumb person a terrific orator, who can make the lame not just walk but climb a mountain. That is his grace. Only God has that grace, and bits and pieces of it are seen in saints and sages also. Even in recent times, there have been saints. Even now, there are saints walking on the same earth on which you and I walk who have extraordinary powers. Some of you may or may not believe in it, but it is said, Ammachi, Mata Amritanandamayi, coming in the dream of a certain, I guess, IT professional in California, hailing from India. She came in his dream, and in his dream she touched upon his stomach. He was told by the doctors in California that he would not survive for more than a month because there was a very bad tumor in advanced stage in his belly, some cancerous growth. He had lost all hope. He prayed to Mata Amritanandamayi. And at that night, during night, he got a dream where she came and saying, "Oh son, do not fear." Moved her hands upon his belly. Next day, he had an appointment with the doctors. He went to the doctors. They again conducted some tests and they were astounded, shocked. They said, "We don't know where the miracle has vanished." The next thing, this, I think, is some Mr. Nair. This Mr. Nair did, forgot his name. I met him once in the hospital in Ernakulam, Brahma Hospital. I met him long back. Next thing he did was he resigned from his job. He wound up, he sold his house. And I think in a couple of months, he cleared everything. He was living in California, but he wound up everything and came to Kerala, fell at the feet of Mother, said, "You give me some work because I was to die. Whatever years are left in my life are given by you. I better serve you now." And because he had, apart from whatever information technology, computers, electronics, etc., he had administrative abilities. He was in some administrative position in the company. She made him the administrative head of the wonderful hospital in Ernakulam. Then when I met him, he was sitting in the cabin of the administrative head, I think CEO or something. Anyway, miracles do happen. And put thousands and thousands of such saints and sages together, they will fall short of God. When somebody once complimented Pujya Swami Chinmayananji, "You are God to us." It's recorded, it is printed, it is documented, it has appeared as a quote from him. He said, "Oh, please don't say that. God is like a huge tree having thousands of fruits. I, at the most, am one of the fruits on the tree of God," he said. Anyway, nowhere else do we find nahi anyatra samarthyam asti samarthyam pashyamaha nahi anyatra samarthyam drishyate. What samarthya? What capacity? Agni adin paribhuya trinam vajrikartum samarthyam. Oh, are you saying that in this story which is coming up, a blade of grass becomes like diamond? Yes. Ahead in the sixth mantra, there is the line Tat na shashaka dagdhum. Fire god Agni Deva rushed towards a blade of grass and tried to burn it. Na shashaka, na ashaknot. He could not do it. He failed in that task because the blade of grass had become so strong. Ityadi lingat. That is the linga, that is the indication. Brahma Shabdavachyaha Ishvaraha iti avasiyate. Therefore, somebody up here makes somebody down here. Ishvara is up here, Agni is down here, and the blade of grass is over there. Duality, plurality, spread out in space and time. Somebody makes the blade of grass so strong, Agni Deva could not burn it. Nahi anyata agnihi trinam dagdum na utsahate vayurva adatum. Nahi anyata, in no other way, agnihi trinam dagdum na utsahate, Agni fails to burn the blade of grass. Or for that matter, wind god fails to blow away or pull towards himself, because depending on the direction of the wind can blow away something or pull, make it move this way, south to north or north to south, east to west or west to east, down to bow, up or up to down. Wind can make things move. Vayuhu adatum na utsahate nahi anyata. Only because of God coming into the picture. Ishwarechayatu trinamapi vajri bhavati iti upapadyate. Therefore, upapadyate, then therefore it becomes logically clear that by desire of God, even a blade of grass becomes very powerful like a diamond. In the title slide, we simplified iti upapadyate, we dropped. Two also I removed. Ishwarechaya tranamapi vajri bhavati. Selected words within a selected sentence. Now that's okay, that's because mantra says and you and I believe, but where is the logical basis? The title slide said logical basis. That comes in the third slide now. We haven't left any word, any sentence from Shankarabhāshya. because it is so helpful to us. Rather than mere faith, we get a certain rationale behind this principle of God. Tat siddhihi jagatah niyata pravrittehe. Jagatah niyata pravrittehe. When you look around, the whole universe is behaving, is functioning, is in operation. Niyata, as per some niyama. Therefore, Einstein had made an interesting statement. What is incomprehensible to me, he said, is how things are how things in this universe are comprehensible. How everything is comprehensible is incomprehensible to me. I don't understand how everything upon examining can be understood because scientists have been discovering laws. The laws of Newton and many laws before him, many laws thereafter. More and more laws are being discovered by scientists, and really speaking, scientists should be the first ones to believe in God. Oh, how did such a universe come about where everything is as per some law, which we just now discovered? We discovered one more law, and so on. They must believe in God, but a lot of scientists don't believe in God because their mind draws some other kind of conclusion. Alas. Sri Shankarāchārya says the very fact that the whole universe is running as per certain laws gives to us a hint that there is a certain intelligence which has gone into the creation of this universe. Swami Chinmayananda used to say loudly, this creation is not a chaos, it is a cosmos. It's not a chaos, it is a cosmos. There is a certain cosmic harmony. Shruti Smriti Prasiddhi Bihi. In the Vedas, in the Dharma Shastras, it is well known Prasiddhi Bihi. Nitya Sarva Vijnane Ishvare Sarvatmani Sarvashaktau Siddhe Api. In a way, if you and I have implicit faith, unshakable faith in Shruti and Smriti and other scriptures, then no need. Siddhe Api, though it is established in the holy books, but Shankaracharya says, Shastrartha Nischayartham Uchyate. We will say a few words in order to not take Shastra Vakya just like that, but with certain deliberation, with certain thinking upon them, certain engagement with them, we will get a deeper appreciation. Oh, these statements of the Shastra are terrific. There is some deep meaning in them. I thought I had to just accept it on face value. No need. Go dig deeper. You will accept it even with greater conviction. How? Tasya Ishwarasya Sadbhava Siddhihi Kuto Bhavati iti Uchyate. First part is the question. Tasya Ishwarasya Sadbhava Siddhihi Kuto Bhavati. How do you say Ishvara is? There is really God. Sadbhava. Sad means to be. Sadbhava. That something is. Other asadbhava is something is not. Shashavishanasya asadbhava. A rabbit has no horns, whereas many other animals that have horns, in their case, about their vishana, about their shringa, we can say sadbhava. They have, oh yeah, yeah, come look at my cow. It has two horns, two little growths. So sadbhava siddhi, how do you say God is? Then Shankaracharya writes, such similar lines are there, I guess, in Katha or Kena-Upanishad Bhashya, uh, Pada-bhashya or somewhere else. So I'm sure Brahma Sutra much more, and many places. Acharya Shankara shares this in many other ways, but many other places with some different words. Here also this portion is wonderful. Yadidam Jagat. Look at this universe. In this universe, there are numerous kinds of living beings. Deva, Gandharva, Yaksha, Raksha. Raksha means Rakshasa, Pitra, Pishachadi, Lakshanam. And there are so many lokas. Dyu means heaven. Vyat, Akasha. Prithivi, earth. Aditya, Chandra, Graha, Nakshatra, Vichitram. This complex cosmos, Vividha Prani Upabhoga, Yogya Sthana Sadhana Sambandhi. The whole universe caters to you know, the bhoga. All living beings have to enjoy or suffer the results of their karmas, and in order that they may enjoy or suffer the results of their karma, facilitation is made. Let's say on January 15, Makara Sankranti this year, you are your karma is such that day you are to eat some ice cream. And you are going somewhere traveling and you wonder how will I come across ice cream. But to your pleasant surprise, you are very busy, you have no time to go to Baskin Robbins or any other. You know. In Bangalore, I came across a nice ice cream shop. I didn't go in. Polar Bear. There's an ice cream shop called Polar Bear. And then I guess there's one more in same Jayanagar, Cool Joint or something. But I have been talking of Baskin Robbins more. Where is the time to go to Baskin Robbins? So you, with a certain sadness, go to a meeting. In the meeting, before biscuits and tea are served, ice cream is served to all. Looking at ice cream, my God, where did this come from? In God's running the show, He ensures that people who are bound to suffer because of their past karma will suffer. Who are bound to enjoy will enjoy. Upabhoga means enjoyment. Yogya sthana sadhana sambandhi. Tadatyanta kushala shilpi birapi durnirmanam. Even most qualified architects, sculptors, builders, they can't make this universe. Deshakala nimitta anurupa niyata pravritti nivritti kramam. Oh my God. At the right place, desha, at the right time, kala, and with the right causation, nimitta, things happen. Niyata pravritti nivritti. When an outward movement has to take place, it takes place. And some other time, an inward movement has to take place, that also takes place. How is it all? Some others say, even when we don't want to say yes, we end up saying yes. Pravritti. Some other time, you know, we had decided to say yes, but we say no. I'm not coming to the movie. All of you go. Nivritti. All the etad bhoktra karma vibhagajna prayatna purvakam bhavitum. So all this is possible by karma vibhagajna. There must be a certain intelligence which jna means janati. Karma vibhagam janati. In Ishavasya 8th mantra, that is what is said. Yata tatyato vidadhat. That is yata tatyato vidadhat. Yatha tatha. Somebody has done punya, therefore enjoyment. Somebody has done papam, therefore punishment. Yatha tatha. So God is called Karmadhyaksha. He is the one who releases sukha or dukkha. And therefore, karyatve sati yatokta lakshanatvat. Therefore, this universe is to be understood as the effect of various karmas, and God is overseeing. In the next slide, he goes further. He says, answering a possible question, is everything in the universe, is everything in whatever exists, is everything effect of a cause? He says, we are now talking about the phenomenal universe. Griha, a house, prasada, a palace, ratha, a chariot, shayana, a cot, a mattress, asana, a seat, a kursi, a chair. All these are effects of causes. But if you ask, Is 100% everything in this universe effect of a cause? Vipakshe, no, there is a vipaksha, opposite side. What is not an effect? Atma Adivat. Only the pure Satchidananda Atma, which also is in this universe, in fact, it is the only reality, rest of it is an appearance. Atma is not Karya. It is not the Karya of a Karana, nor is it the Karana of a Karya. It is detached, Asanga. Now, Purva Pakshi raises a question. Karmanaha eva iti chet. Why bring God into the picture? Let's say karmas have their own capacity. A karma leads to karma phala. Why should a God come and connect your karma to an appropriate fruit? Siddhanti answers, no. Don't say that. Don't say karma can itself bring about result. Paratantrasya, karma is not independent. That's how Sri Ramana Maharshi begins Upadesha Sara. You know, karma kim param. Is karma the highest? It is not. Karma is jada. Karma tad jadam. Upadesha Sara. First shloka. Karturajnaya prapyate phalam. Karma kim param. Karma tad jadam. Kartu, there is a karta above. Karma is below him. Nimitta matratvat. Karma is like the English translation takes a little liberty and says catalyst is like a catalyst. A chemical process is speeded up if you include a catalyst in the process. A plus B leads to C. Putting a catalyst, A plus B becomes C faster, more smoothly, more efficiently, more effectively. Like that, karma has its own law. Karma leads to karma phala, but nothing will happen if the intelligence called God were not there. Therefore, karma is not the main cause. Yadidam upabhoga vaichitram. There's so much vaichitrya, variety of upabhoga, experiences, joy, sorrow, disappointment, disturbance, frustration, celebration, jubilation. Oh, you and I go through, sometimes in a single day, we go through so much ups and downs. Therefore, we call life a roller coaster ride. Up we go and then down we come and then for just a little while on the plateau, neither up nor down. Upabhoga vaichitram praninam, tat sadhana vaichitrancha, and the means of getting coming upon the enjoyment or suffering also are so varied. Sadhanas also vaichitra. You know, Deshakala nimitta anurupa niyata pravritti nivritti kramam cha tat na nitya sarvajna kartrukam. So, when you say this is actually the argument of the Purva Pakshi. Yeah, there is variety. Yeah, all that, but it is not. Na nitya sarvajna kartruk. Don't say it is all introduced by God. Siddhanti is surprised. Kim tarhi? Then who created it? What created it? The Siddha Purva Pakshi says, Karmanaha eva. Karma itself produces all the variety. Karma itself produces the place where you should suffer, the object through which you suffer or enjoy. You know, karma itself decides that you should get scolded by your own father one day. Karma itself decides another day you get so praised for your mother, by your mother. You know. So all the details don't bring God some other thing. This is Purva Pakshi saying, you know, karmana eva tasya achintya prabhavatvat. Karma also has unthinkable capacity. He wants to make karma as the ultimate without giving any room for Ishvara. Sarvaischa phala hetutva abhyupavamacha. For it is taken as phala is determined by yatha karma yatha phalam. Full stop. Period. Yatha karma tata phalam. Karma phala data kaschana Ishvara kutaha agacchati. And in the next slide now, fifth slide in this set of six, Sati karmanaha phala hetutve kim ishwaradika kalpanaya. This is Purva Pakshi saying, Kim. Why? Kim here means why or what for. Kim is not the name of the dictator in North Korea here. Please do not go out of context because there was a little Sanskrit cartoon. A child goes to the dictator, maybe he's a president or a king, something in North Korea. Sanskrit mein he asks a question. Tava nama Kim? And that dictator there answers, Mama nama Kim? His name is Kim. So Tava nama Kim? What's your name? Mama nama Kim? My name is Kim, is the answer. So here Kim is not that ruler in North Korea. Kim Ishvara Adhika Kalpanaya. Additionally, why do you bring Ishvara, Kalpana, imagine? Na nityasya Ishvarasya nitya sarvajna shaktehe phala hetutvam cha iti chet. If you say that Ishvara is not bringing about the phala, karma by itself brings phala, the answer is Siddhanti Naukam. No, it's not so. Karmana eva upabhoga vaichitradi upapadyate. Karmana eva upabhoga vaichitradi na upapadyate. So, actually, a better version is first of all, semicolon after na should have been removed. Na karmanaha eva upabhoga vaichitradi upapadyeta. Upapadyate is what they call present tense, which is okay. But in the better version, upapadyeta. It is like that is possible, simple present tense, that would be possible, that would fall in place. So that's a better language. Na karmanaha eva. So you in your copy you may remove semicolon. Na karmanaha eva upabhoga vaichitradi upapadyeta. So that kind of variety karma itself cannot deliver, as the English translation has rightly put. Why? Because karma is dependent on the one who is performing the action. Elsewhere in Shankarabhāshya, it is said, in the context of karma, let's say you are doing some karma. One fine morning with a glass of water, which you are holding in your hand, you are about to drink it. Then you say, hey, wait a minute, should I drink it now? Or should I drink it after 5 minutes? Or should I not drink at all? Return it, throw it in the sink, in the wash basin. Shankarāchārya puts it in this way, kartum, akartum, anyata kartum shakyate. Karma has all those options. And who exercises the option? The doer. You with the glass of water in hand, you decide. One morning you drink, another morning you get a thought, why not I mix a little bit of, I'll boil it and put one tea bag, green tea bag, make it green tea and drink. Anyatha kartum. Patum, anyatha patum, na patum. Don't drink also. Some other day you just put it aside and go back to bed early morning and sleep a little more. This is not time to drink water. I want some rest. So that's expressed in a technical language. Kartritantratvat karmanaha. Kartritantratvat. The doer has the options to do, not to do, or to do in some other way. Whereas if I hold a rose in front of your eyes and say, open your eyes, you open your eyes and see. You don't have the option to see a rose or jasmine, a pot or a cloth. Vastram va, mallikam va, gulabam va. What is that? Ghatam va, drashtum, bhavataha, vikalpaha nasti. You have no option. If it's a rose, you see the rose. Unless your eyes are defective. That's a different context. So there it is said vastu tantratva. If the vastu is rose, you will see rose. Jnana. Jnanam vastu tantram karma kartritantram. Kartritantratvat karmana. And then it is said chitimat, an intelligent. Chiti means consciousness. Chiti means intelligence. Chiti mat. Masculine form would have been chitiman. But this is a compound, so the crude is used. Chitimat prayatna nirvrittam hi karma. Tat prayatna uparamat, uparatam. Karma is done, the effort is done, karma gets over, uparam. Everything subsides. Sat being so. Deshantare kalantare va. Some karma takes years. What you did in 2012 hits back in 2018. What you did in Chennai hits back at you. The phala comes when you are in Mumbai. So deshantare kalantare va niyata nimitta vishesha apeksham kartuhu phalam janayishyati iti. For the doer who did right or wrong, the result comes at a different place, a different time, and caused by some settings. Na yuktam anapeksha anyad atmanah prayoktra. In order to bring that kind of, you know, ensuring the phala reaches the kartra, the individual kartra, unless there is a higher higher intelligence. Atmanah anapeksha anyad atmanah prayoktra. So another truth has to be there. Shankarāchārya concludes his arguments with yet another masterly stroke. We'll see in the last slide now. In the last slide, he says, the point of this sentence is to prove the existence of Ishvara by saying that karma, because it is insentient, depends on a sentient karta. Chitimat is the sentient, to do karma. And in the same way, because it is insentient, karma is insentient, jada. Maharshi Ramana therefore says, karma tat jadam. Karma param va. Karma kim param. Karma tat jadam. So you must raise your vision. Look up and see God, who is actually karma phaladata. Don't excessively be attached to karma. Just like if you and I get excessively attached to machinery, equipment, modern gadgetry, however wonderful your gadgets may be, laptop and iPhone and iWatch and iPad and this, that, put them in their right place. For heaven's sake, do not worship them. So do not worship karma. Karma can do a lot, but karma is not the highest. So depends on a sentient karta, and in the same way, because it's insentient, karma must also depend on some other sentient being to deliver the result of the action. But there is again a certain objection. Karta eva phalakale prayokta iti chet. Okay, karma is not capable, but the karta, the individual karta, he decides. I do something wrong in Chennai in 2012. 2018, sitting in Mumbai, I said, oh, I did that wrong thing, and its result has not been, brought into picture. So I wish that, okay, today, sitting in Mumbai, I want to experience the result of that wrong action I did in Chennai 6 years ago. So the individual has the capacity. The individual is an insentient being, right? You and I are living beings. Karta eva phalakale prayokta iti chet. In what way? The Purvapakshi even narrates it. Maya nirvartitaha or nivartitaha, maybe should be nirvartitaha. Okay, Maya nivartitaha or nirvartitaha. Asi, the man or the woman who did something in Chennai in 2012, says to karma, as though karma is up there listening to him, look, karma, I did you, I performed you in 2012 in Chennai. Maya nirvartitaha asi. Tvam prayokshe, I now will activate you. Phalaya, become the fruit and make me suffer. Atmanurupam. According to what I did, I am ready now to face the result. Na deshaka, and Siddhanti answers. This individual karta, first of all, doesn't have that ability to remember all the actions that he had done and then to initiate the process whereby he suffers for bad actions, enjoys for right actions. Na desha kala nimitta vishesha. Hereafter na, there should be a comma. No, it's not so, because desha kala nimitta vishesha anabidnatvat. This individual, you and I, we might have got postgraduate degrees or PhDs, we might have traveled to 20 countries, we might have got some titles. All that means nothing. We don't have the intelligence. Anabhidna means non-knower. We are non-knowers. We do not know the countless karmas that we have done, and it's impossible for the sentient being, of course, that we are, to decide and ensure that the results come about. This is absurd because uh, cannot be the knower of all. The one word is missing. The doer cannot be the doer. The doer cannot be the knower of all the factors that define a specific result for a given action, such as when, that is kala, where, that is desha, and by what immediate cause, nimitta, the result of some past action is to be received. It requires unbelievably large amount of intelligence to connect the karma to karma phala. An individual doer cannot. First it was said karma cannot do. Now karta cannot do, the individual karta. God also is called karta on a higher plane. Yadihi karta desha vishesha abhijnaha san. Suppose as individual doer, you and me, abhijnaha, were to know everything, when I did, what kind of action it was, what kind of result it deserves, and what extent, because even suffering could be higher or lower. If Karta knew this, then with a touch of humor, Sri Shankarāchārya says, Swatantrena karma niyunjya. Then he would, if he knew and he decides when to suffer, when to enjoy, he would take freedom, he would take the liberty to decide the, what does it mean? Anishta phalasya aprayokta syat. Conveniently, you and I would just write off all the wrong actions we might have performed in Chennai or in Delhi, in Chicago or in Seattle. We would just write it off. Anishta phala. Whatever past karma is going to make us fall sick, lose money, get insulted by people, etc. Anishta phala. We would say, let me not, bring that about. Therefore, neither karma nor the individual karta sets in motion this whole process. Therefore, it is that karta above. God also is called karta. Therefore, Upadeshasara begins with the word karta. Shashti vibhakti kartuhu. Karturajnaya prapyate phalam. Shankara's commentary, as though he summarized in half a shloka there. In this way, in 3 paragraphs in this class, we deliberated a little bit upon how there is a certain insight into the proposition that there is God in life, there is God in this creation, there is God everywhere. A certain supreme intelligence pervades the entire creation and ensures that every karma has its. That's what Ishavasya says. Yata tatyato vidadat. It says the word used implies karma phala. God is karma phala adhyaksha. That has been deliberated upon, that has been expressed. Namah paramarashibhyo, namah paramarashibhyah.